In a previous demonstration, we showed how to access the different Zoom halls using the tiny URL access address. In this example, we will show you how to access the different Zoom halls using the meeting ID. In order to do so, first we need to find the meeting ID. The best way to do that is to access the TASME Zoom conference website to obtain the meeting ID. Please bear in mind that this TASME Zoom web conference website is different from the main TASME conference website. To access the Zoom conference website, type the following address: tinyurl.com/TASME conference. This website has a lot of very useful information for those who are new to Zoom and even to those who have used Zoom previously. The first tab gives information on the different Zoom halls. For the conference, we have set up 4 different Zoom halls. Zoom hall number 1, which we call the main Zoom hall, or Zoom 1 main hall. This is where the combined events will be held, and one stream of the medicine events will also take place in this hall. Then we have the second Zoom hall, Zoom 2. We call this Zoom 2 medicine hall. There are 2 halls for medicine programs because we have the highest number of programs for the medicine field. And the third Zoom hall is where events related to engineering will be held. And the fourth Zoom hall, we call it Zoom 4 Science Hall, is where the science-related events will take place. Each of these Zoom halls have an access link that is shown here. In the previous video, we showed how to access or how to join the meeting using this access link. There's an easier way to access the meetings as well. It requires a little bit effort at the beginning, but thereafter switching from one hall to the other hall is much easier in the method that is going to be demonstrated right now. For this demonstration, take note of the following meeting IDs. Only once you need to take note of it and enter it, then you can select these meeting IDs from the Zoom memory. Assuming that you have taken note of these meeting IDs, the next step is to go and install the Zoom desktop. To do that, Google with the following key search words. You will say Zoom download. It will take you to this website. Click on this and there is the Zoom client for the meetings. Make sure that you are downloading the right Zoom client for your operating system. Zoom might probably be checking your operating system and taking you to the appropriate download center. Just bear in mind and be careful that you are downloading the appropriate client. Click on the Zoom client, save the file. Incidentally, this procedure may differ from one browser to the other. The idea is to execute the downloaded executable file. Open the folder where the downloaded file is stored. In this case, the procedure demonstrated is for the Fox browser. Click on the folder, double click on the downloaded executable file, and Zoom will install the desktop client. Now that desktop client has been activated, or it is just opened. So to join a meeting, the procedure is quite simple. Click on Join a Meeting and provide the meeting ID of the meeting that you want to join. Please bear in mind, use the first name and the last name that you use for registering for the conference. Now once you enter the meeting ID, let's take a look at the meeting ID here. I will switch to the next tab, move this aside. Let's join Zoom for Science. So the meeting ID is 4. We should enter it in the appropriate box. It would be 416-706-7838. This incidentally is the meeting ID that's here. We are joining Zoom for Science Hall. State your name or enter your name, and you can check these options as you desire. Click on Join. Now in this particular case, the host for the science meeting has created a waiting room. So as soon as you enter, you are put into the waiting room, and the host has to allow you to join the meeting. Bear in mind, there are 4 different Zoom halls. Different hosts will run these different Zoom halls. There are 2 different security measures that they may have enforced. One will require you to provide a passcode. I will give a demonstration of that a little bit later. And the other one will require you to remain in a waiting room until the Zoom host allows you into the meeting. In this particular case, the Zoom host needs to allow you into the meeting. Keep in mind, both security measures may be in operation for certain halls. In certain halls, there may be only one. You may be required to enter only the passcode. In some other halls, you may not be required to enter the passcode, but you will have to wait in a waiting room. So just follow the procedure and you will have no problem getting into the meeting room. Now let's wait until the host will let you in from the meeting room or from the waiting room. Now you can see that the host has allowed you into the meeting from the waiting room, so you can join with the computer audio. Now you are in the meeting. You are not seeing anything here because this is a test meeting and the meeting host has not enabled the audio or video. Otherwise you will be seeing somebody on the screen who will either be the presenter or the host or the session chair. Now one thing to keep in mind is that when you enter the meeting, you will be muted. You will not be able to unmute yourself, meaning that if you have any questions to ask the host or to the presenter, please send the questions using the chat box. The presenters usually have 10 minutes to present. The next 5 minutes are for question and answers. So if there are questions from the audience will send a chat request that will show the question. Either the host or the session chair will pass the question to the presenter. The procedure might be slightly different for breakout rooms where you discuss career opportunities and so on, but I'm sure you will become very familiar with this process once you start attending the first session or so. Now at this point, let us try and see how we can switch from the science hall to the medicine 2 hall. To do that, first leave the hall. Click on leave. leave meeting. Now we need to go back to the Zoom join. If you don't see it, go to the taskbar. You will see the Zoom icon. Click on it. You will see this again, which is join meeting. Click on the join meeting. This time you want to enter, let's say, the TASME medicine. So this is where you want to go, which is 650-8082-0314. Here is the nice thing. You only have to do it once. Once you have entered the 4 different meeting IDs, Zoom will keep it in this memory drop-down list. So in other words, you can see already that 650 is there. So once you enter it once, it is kept in memory so that you can access it later without actually having to type this ID. I will type the ID, but I could also click on it and choose this ID. So just click on it for a second. There's the ID. But instead of this, let me type the ID, which would be 650-082-0314. Click on join. Again, you have the option of either typing it in or selecting it from this drop-down menu, provided you have accessed this Zoom meeting before. Click on join. Now remember, in the previous case, you were not asked a passcode, but you were put in a waiting room. This host has decided to enforce the passcode. You would have received a passcode in your email. It would have been sent to you by the conference chairs. So please make sure that you have it ready. Write it down here or enter it here. Click on join meeting. And you are in the meeting right now. So this is a very easy way to switch from one meeting to the other meeting. I can leave the meeting and then I can join the meeting by selecting the appropriate code from here. So this is a good way to rapidly move from one meeting hall to another. I don't recommend that. I would rather you follow or stay in a hall for as long as it is necessary, because frequently moving from one stream to the other can disturb the host who monitors the different halls. You can also get rid of all these things by clicking on clear history. Now let me tell you this. If you close this, let's say if you close this one as well, how do you get it back? There's a way to do it. You can go in here and type Zoom, and the Zoom desktop app will appear here. Click on it and here you get the app. So once again, this is perhaps the best way to join and move from one meeting to the other when there are multiple meetings happening. Once again, I thank you for joining the conference, and we look forward to seeing you at the conference. Keep in mind the important website that gives you all this information. And for now, goodbye and see you later.